Hey guys, you are watching episode 5 of the Dirt on Gardening podcast. I like to get on here a little bit early just to make sure the lighting's right, make sure everything's right. We'll start once we get everyone here. We're about a minute early still. Tonight we're actually going to be talking about some tropical fruits, some exotic fruits, and some of the things that you can grow, and some things you can grow actually in different parts of the country. So let's see who we got here. Let's see if we've got, I'm still waiting on Urban Gardening with Gray and the Chocolate Botanist. And as soon as those guys get here, we'll start. But basically, we created this podcast so we can answer all your gardening questions and give you something to look forward on a Monday. You know, Mondays are kind of sometimes a little dreary for some people. I'll tell you what, this has made my Mondays super exciting. So I look forward to my Mondays now big time. So I thank you all for being here with me right now. As soon as we get the rest of the crew here, the show will begin. Just pick some mangoes today. Really, where are you living? You can pick mangoes already. My mangoes are not even close to ripe. I think I'm still about at least 2 weeks to a month away from my mangoes being ripe enough to harvest. Unless you're using them for green mangoes, then you can just go ahead and pick them anytime you want. I see Gray here. All right, let's get him up. Hollywood, Florida. Wow, mangoes are ripe already. Hey, Gray, what's going on, man?
What's going on, my brother? What's going on? The man of many talents. You've been busy,
Hi.
right?
Oh, gosh. I had to drive up to North Carolina. So I drove up after work on Friday. It's like 9 hours to Winston-Salem. And then we watched my son run his final track meet for Georgia Tech.
How'd he do?
He did pretty good. He ran by the 4x4. It was the ACC championship. He ran well. And then Sunday morning, we got up early and made the trip back down. So,
and then still had time to stop over at Breeze
well, that
at
was
her
today.
food forest.
We saw the breeze
That
today.
was today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, this morning.
It was amazing. I watched the whole thing. It was an amazing food forest. And I mean, to think that was all grass at one point in time.
She has an amazing garden. It started from scratch. It is something. I'm looking to see if we have Derek on here yet, but he's not here yet.
Mm-hmm.
So how was your weekend? What'd you do?
Man, I've been all over the place getting ready for PlantCon because, next weekend will be PlantCon Houston. So I got to get my presentation ready. Got to get all of my wares that we're going to be selling for the event. Can I show you something real quick?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Now,
hey, Derek.
Hey, what's up, Derek? Now, my wife, she truly is a talented woman. And she came up with something cool she wants to sell along with the propagations that I'm going to sell. Now, this, you guys can see, this is a glass jar, and it says, "My plants are rooting for you," or for me, rooting for me.
Okay.
And this is a glass jar, and it has a hole for it. We have straws for it, and she made these that we can sell down at PlantCon for, because, there are going to be plants there. Going to be, thousands of plants. But sometimes, us plant people like Derek over there, I see him with his herbology shirt on. We like repping our plants too,
I thought that was like a container for you to root your plant in. Like you get a cutting at PlantCon, you stick your cutting in the hole.
Now, it's a drinking container. But it's funny you mentioned because that's actually what I'm selling as well. These are propagations that I'm going to be selling. So, so they kind of go hand in hand,
I like it. I like it.
Yeah. So that's what I've been working on, just trying to get ready for PlantCon. And then I got
and
that
that's
presentation.
This weekend coming up?
Not this weekend, next weekend.
Okay.
So on the 31st.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I also have an event that weekend too. It's the Fish Pepper Unity event here in Kissimmee.
That's right.
Fish peppers are a traditionally African-American heirloom, which originated in Haiti. So they're trying to revive it. And they're doing a festival here in Kissimmee. I'm going to go and do grafting demos there. Actually, I have to fly to Canada on the Thursday. And then when I get back on the Saturday, I'm going straight from the airport to the festival to do the grafting demos that afternoon. So it's going to be a crazy weekend as well.
Look, I'm just going to say, the amount of energy you have, I wish we could bottle it up and save it and sell it, man. Wow.
There's a lot of hours in a day. Today, I was off today. I did not get to go to my garden till probably about 6:30
Mm.
this afternoon. It was the first time I had a chance to go to my garden. It's been just
Wow.
one thing after another, after another, after another. But that's life. That's life. Derek,
Yeah.
what's going on with you, brother? What's going on, man?
Oh, you're muted. We can't hear you, buddy. Yeah, you're on mute. Come on, we need to hear that voice, man. Well, having IT problems. Yeah, no, we don't hear you at all, buddy. Nope,
Nope.
nothing. No audio. No audio on a podcast.
do,
Isn't that interesting?
do you know sign language, Derek?
I know. Thank you. I learned that from Lanita. Thank you.
Derek's going to sign this during this entire podcast. He's just going to sign the whole time. Oh, I think he's rebooting or something like that. But
Yeah.
guys, tonight we're going to talk about exotic fruits. Great. Do you want to talk about something else too as well?
No, just the exotic fruits. I think that's going to be, it's going to be very interesting to talk about. We do some exotic fruits, and you brought some to taste as well. Oh, there we go.
I have
Yeah.
some samples here. There are some things that most people have not tried. We've got a yellow dragon fruit, which if you're buying a dragon fruit from a grocery store, this is the only one to buy. Do not waste your time with the pink or the red ones in the grocery store. Now, if you're growing them yourself, there's some varieties of the pink and the red that are amazing. But if you're, let me see if I can get Derek back on here.
Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about exotic fruit. Andre's going to be taste testing them. We're going to tell you about growing conditions. We're going to bring you up to speed on all these fruit that maybe you've never heard of before. Derek, do we have your audio?
God, I hope so.
There we go.
I can hear y'all perfectly clear. And the devil jumps into my Instagram. And I'm like, what you mean y'all can't hear me? I thought y'all were playing. I said they wouldn't do this to little old Derek. They wouldn't play me like this. Because I'm like, I hear y'all perfectly clear. This is my first full day of a job, having a job again.
Hey,
So,
congratulations.
thank you. Because it has been a rough time coming these last 3 months. And I am as tired as all get out. So I'm probably going to be less hyped than I typically am. But I am feeling it. I am excited. And I'm just glad to be here.
I'll tell you what, I look so forward to Mondays now because of this. Like literally, this is like the highlight of my week now, and I really look forward to it. So I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate all the people watching as well. So we want to talk about exotic fruits. Like, what's the most exotic fruit that you guys have grown or whatever? Derek, I know you go mostly ornamentals, but
yeah, I've not grown anything.
See, when it comes to exotic, I mean, yeah, it's going to be of course, on the ornamental side, I have my Monstera albo, which, I mean, I love her. And, my Esquilito, I love her too. I love all of you girls. But when it comes to the fruit and vegetable side, as of right now, it's going to be my pink Mila pineapple and my Maypop passion fruit. Those are the most exotic for me because in my zone, in Texas, it's hard. It's a challenge.
Have you ever tried growing pawpaw?
I've actually, it's funny you mentioned that because I was actually just looking at pawpaw over the fall and thinking about doing that. Yeah, I'm thinking about pawpaw. I just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. I did pick up the Pakistani mulberries, but I may get the pawpaw next fall and get them in the ground next fall because when fruit trees in the fall is the best time to plant those.
Okay. Well, yeah. For me, it depends on if they're tropical or not. Because if they're tropical, I got to get them in early. Because if I put them in the fall, then the winter's going to beat the hell out of them. They're going to die. So someone mentioned mangosteen. Someone mentioned a loquat tree. Someone asked about pawpaw. Well, we're going to talk about a lot of those things. But pawpaw is actually the largest tree-borne fruit that's native to the United States. It's a member of the Annona family, so it's in the same family as soursop, sugar apples, custard apples, all those things. And it's supposed to taste like a cross between a banana and a mango. I've had one example of one, which I don't think was the best example of one, because they don't really ship well at all. That's why you'll never see them in grocery stores, because they just don't travel well. But someone went up to New York and brought a bunch of them down, and they were selling them down here. And by the time they got to me, they were in pretty rough shape. But and also there was only one variety, so I'm sure there's lots of different varieties. But apparently, when Europeans first came to the United States, that was a major food source for them in terms of fruits and vegetables and such. It's a very common tree up north, but people generally don't know about it. Like I lived in D.C. and Maryland, I'd never even heard of it, but apparently They grow pretty much wild in a lot of those places.
Yeah, and see, and that's the very reason why I wanted to do the pawpaw, because I have, as far as being in 8A up here in Dallas, I have a better chance of growing it and being successful. So yeah, I'm glad you did the research behind it too. Yeah, so that's good.
Now,
That's good
someone asked
information.
in the comments there about soursop, and do you have any experience with the soursop medicinal benefits? And this is
Um,
where people tend to get mad at me
Me too.
because because while soursop has definitely anti-cancer properties and stuff like that, if you have cancer, it's not fixing your cancer. All right, it's not curing your cancer. It's not doesn't mean that you ate soursop so you're not getting cancer. Like, let's say you ate soursop, on a weekly basis, then maybe you have a 5% less risk of someone who didn't. But like, the medicinal benefits are not something you're going to feel because you ate soursop, right?
Right, like with moringa, right? I love moringa, but there's a lot of well, I'm not going to say misinformation, but I'm going to say negligent information that's being put out about this plant. While it is a very nutritious plant, just eating moringa all day, every day is not going to be like that ambrosia of the gods and make you like a superhuman. It's awesome. It's wonderful. And that's why in my videos, I never shell out any medical information, because that is not my background. I am not a nutritionalist. I don't know what conditions, what hereditary, what you have. You know what I mean?
Wait a minute. So you're telling me if I was to eat broccoli and kale every day, like Doc Seavey said, I wouldn't become an X-Man? Is that what you're telling me? Because I try to tell people, because ethnobotany, like medicinal botany, all that stuff is my background. So when it comes to plants being medicinal, I will say that, but they're not miraculous. And a lot of negligent information, which I'm going to use that from now on, is out there that makes it simple. It simplifies like what cancer is. And we could have a whole diatribe on that. But the simplistic state of it is there are so many things that could cause cancer,
Right.
that this one thing is just going to like shield all of your body and then like eradicate it and rip it out and all this other stuff, right? So be healthy, love plants, enjoy them, but don't, put all of your hopes into that boat of them just fixing all your problems.
Right. And remember,
Yeah.
when a plant does have a medicinal benefit, it's because there is a chemical in that plant that causes a specific reaction in your body.
You said
Like,
the bad
there's a
word.
physiological process. Is it a bad word?
You said a bad
right.
word.
Yeah. So there's also possible side effects, and there's also drug interactions that can happen as well. So just because it came from a plant doesn't mean that it's not a chemical. It's
He
not
said
a
it
drug.
again.
That's where most of our drugs come from.
Don't say that too loud. The people gonna be beating at your door. You said the C word and the D word. They're gonna be beating at you.
That's okay. Come at me. Someone said, please, I was told if I ate a lot of carrots, my eyes would be perfect. Please, I'm blind as a dang bat.
Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, now, while all these things may be great for you, but again, like we said, they're not going to be the end all be all.
Right. Someone asked, where's the event in Kissimmee? It is at Eco Love Nursery. Eco Love Nursery in Kissimmee. You're going to have to Google that, Eco Love. But I've got some really cool fruits here. And I'm going to have to do them in a specific order, and I'll tell you why. Let me see if I can get this camera to go down a little bit here.
Yeah, show us what you got here. Where'd you get these cool fruits from? Did you grow these?
Well, I'll tell you what, I have some of them I do. But I have all of these trees, but they're not all in bloom right now. So let me see if I can find a way to rig this thing that I can get it closer to showing you guys this. Let me see. There we go. That's pretty
There we go.
Cool.
I mean, it looks fantastic. It looks amazing.
Well, dude, this is really terrible. We got a budget, guys. We have a budget. All right. So this is the yellow dragon fruit, which is a dragon fruit that you can grow if you live anywhere zone 9 or better. And if you're going to buy a dragon fruit from a grocery store, this is the one to buy. Don't buy the red or the pink one. They taste like people tell me they hate dragon fruit. It tastes like nothing. It's because they bought the red or the pink one. And not all the red or the pink ones are bad. It's only the store-bought red or pink ones that are bad. There are a lot of homegrown ones that you can grow that are red and pink that are delicious. Now, on the inside of this, It's loaded with seeds.
Look at those
Ooh.
seeds. That looks gorgeous.
Now I've never
And you can
had dragon
grow
fruit
this
before.
from the seeds. I have one in my office that I'm growing from seed, and it's actually growing really well.
What does it taste like?
It's just
What's the taste? Please describe
really
it.
sweet.
I love sugar.
See, someone said the red and the pink actually taste like nothing. Yeah, agree. They taste. Yeah, these don't taste like nothing. These are just like little sugar bombs.
Ooh.
Oh, little sugar bombs. Nice.
It's almost,
And now, if
it's almost like watermelon, but
Okay.
sweeter without the melony taste.
Okay,
nice.
okay. You
Yeah.
might have me go to the store and get one because I've never got them because I heard about them not tasting like nothing. So I said, might as well not waste my good money. Well, now you done changed my world.
Yes,
Yeah.
yellow. Now, if you grow it yourself, there are some varieties of the pink that you can grow that are just as sweet as this. But if you just bought store-bought, you'll never know. Okay?
Now, if you're looking to grow the yellow on your own, with the yellow, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have a nice, slightly acidic soil,
Okay.
kind of like a soil combination of like a strawberry. So you're looking at like a 6.0, anywhere between 6 to about 7, being your neutral. That's where your sweet spot is. And you want that to be a sandy loam. So you want to take a nice amount of drainage in that soil.
Okay, I can do that. I can make that happen. I don't have
And start
the
it.
zonage.
And when you start, someone said, "How do you start from seed?" Well, I have a video on that. But basically, I took the seeds and I put them in a paper towel and wet the paper towel and put it in a Ziploc bag. Just put it in a dark area for like 2 or 3 days, and they'll sprout. And once they sprout, you put each seed in a little starter tray. And the key really is as they grow, up pot them, up pot them, up pot them, and they will grow like crazy. I have one that's hanging down in my office right now, and it's actually getting pretty large.
Now-
It's definitely ready for the ground.
Does it go into a tree or to a plant? Like, what's the growth habit look like?
It's a cactus. It's a cactus that just sort of vines all over. So you want to build a trellis because you got to grow it up, and then you want it to hang over down, and that's what will fruit when it's hanging down.
Wow.
And now I'm glad you said that because one of the members here in the chat said, "Can we grow this in DFW?" Yes, we can, but we're going to have to bring it in the winter. So with that being said, since it trellises out and it hangs over, it may be a little bit of a challenge getting that in and outside, in the DFW area because our winters are going to be definitely too cold for it. So you may want to look at something like a tree dolly or something like that you can put underneath your pot so you can easily wheel it back and forth during winter.
And it grows easy from cuttings. Like from seed is not the best way to grow it. If you want to grow it, get a cutting. There's a lot of websites that will sell you cuttings. They will ship cuttings. The cuttings can come to you dry, and all you got to do is just put them in a pot with some moist soil, and they will root. They will grow. If you live local to Central Florida and you want dragon fruit cuttings, message me. I will give them to you. If you can come pick them up, you can have them for free.
There you go.
Now I got a question for you because I asked you one of the questions that was in the chat, so I could throw my own question in there. So when you come up here to Carolina, are you driving or flying?
Wait,
he actually
I just went to Carolina. I got back yesterday.
What do you mean? You didn't tell me nothing, Lord. I'm not.
I drove up Friday after work, and I got back yesterday. Yesterday evening.
It'd be your own people. Nobody even let me know nothing. We're gonna keep moving. I'm so hurt.
Listen,
I ain't felt this abandoned since my daddy left me. He came from Florida too. It's okay. We're gonna keep going.
I was only there for 1 day, and I had to go to my son's track meet. I was there for 1 day.
No, it's okay. You're all right. I'm just messing, kinda. Keep going now.
All right. Any questions about dragon fruits, guys? Any questions?
Conscious of the case, she said, "Sorry, she would love some cuttings, but she's out here with me, out here in Dallas."
Well, they love full light, full sun. If you can put them in full sun, that's great. Definitely the trellis, but they grow great in pots. Like even the ones that I have here, most of mine are in pots. Even though they're on a trellis, they're in big pots. That's the best way to grow it.
How long does it take you to get fruit?
Probably about 18 months.
Oh, that ain't that bad.
Yeah, that's a good
And
turnaround.
then once it's fruiting, it can fruit multiple times a year.
Now speaking of the fruiting, let's talk about the blooms. When do we get the blooms on the dragon fruit?
That's really cool because they bloom at night.
Oh.
So yeah, so generally because bats are the major pollinators. So whenever I see a flower about to bloom, then I know the next morning I have to get out there early and go hand pollinate them because we don't have the pollinators for it. So I hand pollinate them. Yeah, because we wait till afternoon, the flowers are closed and they're soggy and they're limp.
Yeah, yeah. So at night, that's when you're best. So go out there with a flashlight or a headlamp and
Yep.
get to pollinating.
And the flowers are gorgeous. The flowers are huge. The flowers are like this big, and they're just gorgeous flowers. If you haven't seen a dragonfly flower, you can look on my page, or you can just Google it. Someone asked about growing sugarcane. Sugarcane's pretty easy to grow if you live in a warm enough climate, but it also grows well in pots, and you can grow it from cuttings pretty easily.
Mm.
Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, what do you have next for us, sir?
Persimmon, not just any persimmon. We have a Fuyu persimmon. All right.
Ooh,
Now,
Fuyu.
there's two major groups of persimmon. There's the astringent and the not astringent. So the astringent ones, like if you eat them and they're not like mushy soft, it's gonna just pucker your mouth. Like it's gonna just suck you up dry, right? But the fuyu you can eat when they're fairly crisp. Just gonna cut it like that. Is it? Cut that, and they are absolutely delicious. These can actually grow in cooler climates. They lose their leaves in the winter, but you can grow these. I think in most of the country you can grow persimmon.
Zones 8 to 9 is around. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I could grow it out here.
Oh,
Yeah. We have them here too.
well, right. And there's wild persimmon, which are like what deer eat and things like that. But the cultivated persimmons or the grafted persimmon, they are so much better. Like I don't really love the skin on them. I'm just a texture guy, so that's just a me thing. But the skin's really not that bad.
Now, what
Oh,
does it taste like? How does it taste?
Please. Because you make it
if
look so
someone
delicious.
describe these fruits, I'll tell you what, it tastes like what like a cantaloupe
Okay.
promises it will taste like, but fails to taste like every time.
Wait a minute. What do you got against cantaloupe?
Right? Like a cantaloupe looks like it should be delicious.
Yeah.
And they're horrible. So this is what a cantaloupe would look like if it wasn't a liar.
It wasn't a liar.
If it wasn't
Wow.
a liar, it would taste like this.
Cantaloupes have hurt you in the past, haven't they?
They're just always disappointing. Always
disappointing every time.
Always. I've never had one that wasn't. To the point where I just realized I don't like cantaloupe because it's a lie.
I love a cantaloupe. They are delicious. You get them nice and cold. Cut them up, put a little sugar up there with a little watermelon, pineapple, some other fruit.
But why
Make a little.
should you have to put sugar on a fruit? If you put sugar on a fruit, that fruit has failed.
You're from Canada, and that's why you don't know that we do sugar everywhere in the South. Okay, you chop that fruit up. You make a nice little fruit salad, little sugar, little watermelon, little orange, little apple, little strawberry, blueberry, little sugar. You let it sit overnight. You take it out. You serve it to your family. It's beautiful.
Someone said facts on the cantaloupe, garbage fruit.
I want y'all to comment now.
Someone said yes,
like
a cross between a grape and a cross of a sweet grape and I thought someone said orange before. That's actually not that bad a comparison. It's kind of like an orangey grape.
Yeah, I do love
like that.
persimmon.
Yeah, I want to grow some now, especially knowing the fact that they can grow out here in the zone and not have to baby it. That's a winner for me.
That's what the inside.
Look at that. I mean,
like
that flesh is gorgeous. Look at that. I mean, it looks like a giant grape.
It really does.
Yeah, it's actually really good. And like I said, they need I think they kind of need a little bit of chill hours. So I think that definitely like a zone 8 would probably be really good for them. But I've seen them up in Atlanta, like in places where it gets like minus, or not minus, but like below freezing, and they do fine there.
Yeah, Atlanta's the same zone as I am, so they'll definitely do it here and there. I knew a friend I had that was beautiful.
Sweet, dirty sauce.
Well, the problem is, how do you know what sweet, dirty socks taste like? Whatever you do in your private time is your private time. But cantaloupe don't deserve to be K-made like this.
Oh, cantaloupe.
Now, as far as to me, cantaloupe is like.
What's the disappointing part? Tell me, what's the disappointing part about the cantaloupe?
It's just never sweet. It's never good. It's like
It
always
it
like
it's sweet enough. It's not like the
you
sweetest
gotta put
melon, but
sugar
it's
on
good.
it.
That's when I'm making like a special dish. If I'm just like, ooh, I want some cantaloupe, I'll go to the store, which I'm saying all this and I don't buy cantaloupe. But if I'm like, if it's in a melon mix, I'm like, let's eat this cantaloupe and just eat it up. It's delicious.
But you know what? I do know what you're talking about because there is a fruit that I grew and I wasn't impressed with it. Have you ever tried Tommy apple melons? Yeah, did
What?
I say that right? Tommy apple, yeah, Tommy apple
Oh my
melons.
God.
No,
They're
I've never
these
heard of it.
small little melons. They are similar to cucumber almost. They're actually used for like pie fillers because they're sweet, but they taste like nothing. So I mean, it's like if you took a cucumber, which I know you can't stand cucumbers, or no, is it pickles, right?
Both.
Both. Yeah, Tommy apple melons, Tommy apple melons, not lemons. But yeah, they taste sweet, but they taste like nothing. So I grew a bunch of them. My kids love them because they love cucumbers, but I was like, it left nothing to be desired. Like okay, yeah, that's done. Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
I get
yeah.
what you meant.
So basically, I feel like all the melons are pretty much in the same boat, and I would throw papayas in that boat as well. But
I'm
they're
with you on
all
the
kind of in the same
papayas,
boat.
but what?
I feel like watermelon is the only one that sort of halfway lives up to its promise, but it doesn't quite get all the way there. But the rest of them to me are just all trash.
Oh my
Just
God.
trash.
Oh
Now, if
my
you wanted to
God.
grow these on your own, these persimmons, what you're looking for as far as soil is, again, it's going to be that sandy loam, just something well draining, and you have a little bit of a bigger range as far as the soil goes. So you're looking at about a 6 to a 7.5. So you can actually kind of go over neutral a little bit, almost to the alkaline side. So you have more margin as far as to be able to work with. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you
Someone
don't
asked
have
if
to
I
be
have a
so
tamarind
specific.
tree. Yes, I have a tamarind tree. I
Mm,
do have a tamarind
mm.
tree. And it flowered last year for the first time. It produced one tamarind. And when you just wait one extra day and then you come back and it's gone? Yeah, that happened.
Oh
So
no. Was it a
now, no,
squirrel or something?
yeah, probably a squirrel. Probably a
Oh,
squirrel. But
I
I was looking at
hate
that tamarind
squirrels.
every day. I was like, should I pick it? Nah, I'll give it one more day. Give it one more day. And then, bam, it's gone. Coach has a question. Coach, what's your question, Coach? I think.
Coach has a question that I wish Coach would type because Coach keeps saying they have a question about these cucumbers, growing them indoors that they planted an hour ago. And I just want Coach to actually type the question. So if you type the full question, Coach, or
We
you say,
got
hey, this is my question, then we here for you. But you just copied and pasted the same sentence, Sugar, and I can't help you.
All right, I saved the best one for last.
Okay, what's
Oh,
this one
what you
here?
got?
These are miracle berries,
Okay,
Ah,
is this?
aka miracle fruit. And when you eat one of these,
Uh-huh.
it blocks your sour and your bitter receptors. So everything you eat tastes super sweet
mm.
Oh,
for
So
about an
that's why
hour.
you did it in that order.
Exactly. Because
Ah,
after that, I have a finger lime, also called a caviar lime. And these I did get from the garden. Whoop.
no, about to lose
So
it.
now, these are also used for cancer patients, chemo
uh-huh.
patients who've lost their sense of taste.
Mm.
Um, it, I guess, it allows them to taste things better. So even during COVID, I think people could use these, and if they lost their taste and had COVID, they could use these, and it would help. And they produce a ton. But once you have a tree or a bush, they grow like a bush.
Okay.
You end up with the problem of having way too many, and they taste good by themselves. So you could eat them as a snack, but it would really mess up your taste buds for the next little while. But we're gonna go ahead and eat this one.
Okay, I'm ready for this.
Yes.
Mm.
Now, from the name Miracle Berry, it's going to give you superpowers.
It's also called miracle fruit. No, it's not goji berry. Goji berry is a different berry, and goji berries are gross. They are medicinal. I've grown goji berries. I thought, wow, it's a berry. It can't be bad, but
They
a
look
berry can be bad.
they look so delicious though. You telling me they
No,
ain't that?
goji berries are medicinal. Trust me, they're medicinal for a reason. They're not good.
Medicinal for
Okay.
a reason.
So we got a question down here that I want to bring up to the table. So we have a friend here, Coach Sauce, who just started cucumbers indoors. They're wanting to grow them indoors and they want some advice. So let's start with you, Gray, because we got the miracle berry. I think that's still working on your tongue. Gray, what advice do you have for this person, Coach Sauce here, growing these beautiful cucumbers they just started indoors? What would you, some tips and you would give them?
Growing indoors can be a little bit of a challenge because you need to have the right conditions for it. You're going to need be able to produce a lot of light. So with that being said, let's spin our camera around like I have with my ornamentals here. I don't see, you see my dog pen over there, but I have my grow lights back there. So you're definitely going to need to invest in some grow lights if you don't have them already. And then you're going to need to trellis them. Make sure that soil is moist enough because cucumbers like to drink. They like a nice moist soil. They like that hydration because the fruit of the cucumber that it produces is going to be heavy with water. So make sure you give them a lot of moisture, but not waterlogged soil so you don't get root rot. And make sure you, again, allow them to trellis because they're going to climb like crazy if the growing conditions are right for them. Okay, you have 5 wings of grow lights. Okay.
And when
And
you're
do you have
using,
something?
go ahead, go ahead.
I was just going to ask Coach Sauce, do you have something for them to climb on? Because they like to climb.
And
Go ahead,
jumping
Derek.
in on that with the lights, like when we're saying grow lights, like these ornamentals that we're growing are dope, right? And they live off of the grow lights that we're using. But when you're trying to do like somebody's serious fruit growth, you need a phenomenal grow light. Like some of the grow lights that I've seen for that type of growth are upwards of 200 at minimum. $200.
Yeah.
I can't remember wattage and a bunch of stuff right now because I'm tired and I don't
Yeah.
be getting those type of lights, but they
Well,
they be like that.
also, the lights have gotten a lot better now and a lot cheaper. So like a lot of the LEDs now can do it. You can do it. You just need like 15, 16 hours a day of light. But you can grow those veggies with the grow lights there. And then not the crazy expensive ones either.
Mm.
You can do it. All right. Someone asked a question there. I missed it now.
While you finding that question, Coach Shaw said something about recommendations for something to stand on. Go with some cattle panel. You can cut up some cattle panel and easily use that porch trellis on because it is going. I mean, cucumbers they really like to climb out. I have my cucumbers growing outdoors are climbing over an arching trellis, and they are already climbing over, and they will continue to climb. So they need a lot of space to climb. Look at cattle panel. You can try chicken wire, but chicken wire might be the holes might be too small. That's why a cattle panel is going to have a bigger square for them to weave through. Because what cucumbers have, it's a trait, plant trait is called thigmotropism. They send out these tendrils to grab onto things to allow them to continue to trellis up. That thigmotropism, they're reaching out to feel something to climb on. Think of it like Laura Croft of the plant world.
You better be using that morphology terminology.
So this is the inside of the finger line. And if you
Ooh,
squeeze it, it's just like little bits of pulp come up. But there's
Wow.
no real juice. There's no juice. It's just pulp.
so
Now,
do you just
normally
use
this
that?
is super sour, but I had the miracle
Uh-huh.
berries.
Wow.
Now it tastes like lemonade.
That's
Tastes like
amazing.
that is cool with the miracle berry. I like that. And now, as far as the miracle berry, the soil conditions you want on it, it's almost like a blueberry. You want to have something very acidic. You're talking about 4.5 to 5. And of course, we're going to go with that well-drained soil again. But that is amazing that it has changed your palate like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like literally, I can eat a whole case of lemons and limes right now, and they taste like lemonade. They taste like sugar's been added to them. A lot of chefs use these finger limes as like a caviar substitute. I think it'd be really good on sushi as a little dressing or something like that, a little accent.
Really? You done
Yeah.
taught me something?
Yeah.
Mm.
Because you get that acid going on the fish. Yeah, that would be good.
Let me show you what it looks like.
Now,
I don't know if you guys can
growing
see
tips
that in
on finger
detail or not.
limes. Yeah, look at that pulp. That's
Yeah, it looks like
amazing.
That
little
is,
caviars.
I can see
Hmm.
that. Okay.
Now, Andre, since you're growing this one out in your garden, the finger limes that came from your garden, we had a question in the chat asking growing tips for finger limes.
For finger limes,
Hmm.
finger limes are a great thing to grow, especially if you're in Florida. I'll tell you why. In Florida, we have a thing called citrus green disease, which is wiping out the citrus industry. The cool thing about citrus finger limes, sorry, is that they are immune to citrus greening. So citrus green doesn't affect them. It's a very small leafed plant. It's crazy thorny, like all other citrus, which have thorns. People don't know citrus have thorns on them. So when you're picking citrus, you're gonna get stuck, especially these finger limes. These finger limes will reach out and grab you. Like they are just like they want to stick you. Even when you're picking them, it's like you're going in between the branches trying to pick this little lime, and there's thorns everywhere. But they're pretty easy to grow. They produce a ton. They'll produce more than you need once they get to a reasonable size. And they fruit multiple times a year. It's a great tree to have. You probably have to be in about zone 9B or better, I would imagine, to grow them. Most of the plants that I grow, you can get from A Natural Farm. They ship all over the country. So that's the easiest place. If you don't live locally, you can get them. They'll ship them to you anywhere in the country.
That's good to know. Yeah, A Natural will ship. Okay, good. Because I mean, a lot of things you've told us about from A Natural has been amazing. So it's good to know they'll ship out here to Dallas.
Now, this Mercy said that he grows finger limes indoors in New York City. So
Hey,
that means there's no limit to where you can grow finger limes. You can grow it anywhere.
right. And I mean, long as you have the space indoors for it, I say why not? I mean, the fact that I'm growing a pineapple out here in DFW, I'm luckily enough I have a greenhouse that I put that pineapple in the winter. But yeah, that's good. Utilize your space. I love it.
Can we trim the thorns if we have small trees? I probably wouldn't do that. You're kind of exposing the tree by if you're constantly cutting off its thorns. I think you're stressing out the tree for no reason.
Yeah.
It's not like you're walking through the tree every day. Like just put the tree in a corner and just don't.
Right.
Yeah.
And then plus you're opening up sores and you're opening up pathogens, access points for pathogens to get in and disease to get in there. So, I mean, every time you're creating a wound every time.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, just like make sure you're using like very clean shears. Because I was like, I Googled it, and some people are saying they can do it without much harm, but it just depends on your situation. So if you're willing to risk it for the biscuit, do everything clean.
Right. And make sure you clean your tools, like our friends over at Retain Spray, clean your pruning shears so that you can make sure everything's being nice and clean so you're not spreading any potential disease.
And that is one of our sponsors, Retain Spray. We use to cure finger lime pulp for dessert garnishes. Super tasty fruit. All right, cool. Yeah. High-end chefs love it. It's a really cool presentation when you have just a little ball of pulp that's citrusy. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I could see that at a catering event. That would be awesome. Yeah, have a nice little. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Question here: how do you acclimate hydroponic grown stuff to the soil without shocking it?
Well, I grow a lot hydroponically. Do you guys?
A little bit, un poquito.
I've not done a lot. I've done some stuff in like theory, but go ahead.
Well, I do grow a lot in the hydroponic. I've used A-Hope hydroponic systems. I've done my own. I've also used the what's the other one? The big one. I can't think of the name of it right now.
Tower?
No, not the tower. It's a small Arrow Garden. Arrow Garden. I've used Arrow Garden as well. The Arrow Garden that I got was pretty cool because my wife got it from a garage sale for $3. Never been used. I was like, that's a steal. But as far as transplanting into soil, I kind of take a page from the book of Andre, because Andre, what he does is when he's hardening off his plants, he says he brings them outside, right, Andre? You bring them outside and then you kind of just get them closer and closer to the sun while they're kind of in shade a little bit. Right. That's kind of the same thing I do with my hydroponics. So I'm not really conditioning them so much for the soil. I'm conditioning them for the new environment, the new temperature they're going to be in. Once that's situated, and that's usually about a week-long process for me. After they have completely acclimated to the environment outdoors, I just go straight into soil. And I will say this: I can't be considered an organic grower because I do use chemicals. C word. But I do use rooting hormone. I sprinkle a little bit of rooting hormone in the hole when I'm going to be planting them in my box. And then I transplant them in the soil, give them a nice amount of pressure, and I haven't had any qualms with any of the transplants I've ever done.
Okay. So is rooting hormone not organic?
It is synthetic. It is synthetic. It is an IBC. Don't ask me what IBC stands for,
It's
but
like
it will.
endobutyric something acids. There's like another syllable I'm missing. Koya?
Right. But yeah, I use, I'm not going to show the brand because they're not a sponsor, but I use a rooting hormone. I sprinkle a little powder in the hole and it eases that transplant shock. Now, a lot of people will use rooting hormone to kind of stimulate growth. I'm just trying to ease that transplant shock for when I'm going in there. Now, if you didn't want to use a rooting hormone, something that you could do to stimulate your roots is actually just by trimming the roots before you go into that hole as well. That haircut that you're giving your roots, that slight trim, will stimulate them to grow as well.
Someone asked, can you use
Exactamundo.
aloe instead of something synthetic?
I was actually about to jump right into that because I think the thing is I use that same non-sponsor brand of rooting hormone you have there because I recognize the bottle. I also have another that is like a liquid I use. But I'm going to hold your hand, Austin, when I say this, that and we're holding hands right now. You feel the warmth of my hand. That aloe has no rooting hormone in it, so you would not be able to use it as a rooting hormone. Now, some people in the herbaceous perennial, people like to smoke and eat, make things out of and then eat it. Some people like to take that cuttings of that and use aloe as a way to prevent their cuttings from rotting or molding or drying out, right? And they use honey in that same way because both of them are supposed to be kind of like antifungal or whatever and help, I guess, stave off some of the potential pathogens that could be a detriment to your little hormonal or baby cuttings, but they are not hormones, so you cannot use them. You can use them, but they're not going to be that beneficial.
So you
Synthetic,
can use them, they won't hurt,
they won't
but they're
hurt.
not doing the things you think they're doing,
Exactly.
right?
And I think the biggest thing with that, and some people are talking about cinnamon too, is funny thing at work. I told somebody I did gardening, and they were like, "Have you heard of copper?" And I was like, "Oh no!" It came, I was like, "It's here, it's here." When it comes to these rooting hormones, a lot of you are like, "I don't want to use a synthetic thing because I don't want it in my plants." But I swear to you, that rooting hormone you used in the first couple of weeks or months of that cutting's life is long gone once you are trying to harvest anything off of that, right?
Yeah.
So we just use the synthetic. It's okay. It's not a detriment. It doesn't hurt us. It's beneficial.
It's so hard to get through people that are so stuck on the synthetic versus natural thing. Like,
Yeah.
it's almost impossible. Like, I don't know, sometimes I just want to give up on it. But so it seems like the benefits of using honey, aloe, cinnamon is really just the antifungal property, which gives your plant a better chance to create roots without having mold or rot interfere.
Yeah, it's the antifungal properties for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, that's great,
Yeah.
but it's not a hormone, like Derek was saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Now there is
some small help.
a organic hormone that you can use that one of my followers uses. It's actually made, I can't remember the exact name of it, but it's made from fungi. It's made from mushrooms. I can't remember the name of it though. It's a mycorrhizal.
Mycorrhizal.
Yep, thank you, because you know me in pronunciations.
No, I'm here.
But yeah. So if you can, because I see you're looking it up now, that's actually a organic, certified organic material that you can use for a rooting hormone that is not synthetic if you are still touchy about the synthetic.
So Mercy said
talking
they
about,
use medicinal manuka honey. Well, I think that would have the same properties as regular honey, so it's going to be antifungal. And a lot of times things will root without having any rooting hormone at all. So, it's really hard to, if you're not doing a real clinical trial, to really determine whether your honey or your aloe was the cause of your rooting or whether it was just going to root anyways.
Yeah.
And
So-
clinical trials are like 500 to 1,000 individuals growing at the same time in the same environment all at once. Are you talking about mycos?
Maybe. I was talking with a lady a couple months ago.
yeah,
She's out in the Bay
I've heard
Area.
that willow bark or something like that is supposed to be a rooting agent.
Yeah, willow has a high amount of, oh my God, the rooting hormone is not abscisic acid, is it? I can't remember right now. And I could look it up because I just put the computer down. But we're going to go for it, right? So it does have a high amount. Some people have used that and basically took the stems, put them in water, and then as the willow roots, they put those next plants into that same liquid. Some people have done that. Some people made a tea out of the bark and the stems and the leaves. Some people do the same thing even with like pothos or other plants that like root easy.
Mm-hmm.
But I've not found anything that was like, this definitely works, because I've tried to look it up recently for another video.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mari said, any of you in South Carolina near Clemson, I'm testing coconut. Coconut as a rooting agent or coconut growing?
What are you testing with coconut? Yeah.
And
Let us know. Let us know.
yeah, and let me know how deeply interested you are in Clemson, because I can't all the way trust people from Clemson. Go Pack.
And somebody in the chat also was asking about corn too, about growing in grow bags. You can just make sure it's deep enough. I think someone came in and answered that, because you need at least a foot or more of depth for corn, like 12 inches or greater. Then remember, corn is one of those vegetables that do not like, or actually corn is a fruit, do not like the roots disturbed. So if you put them in a grow bag, do not move them.
And the peaches and cream variety, I've never heard of that. That is amazing.
I know. I was like, peaches and
That's a
cream.
popular variety up north.
Is it?
Up north, that's a really popular variety. In Canada, peaches and cream. That's like
somebody send me those seeds. I got a concept with a 112 salt.
All right. On cuttings, do you ever use wax to seal off your cuttings? Like, you mean like the top of the cutting? I personally can't be bothered.
I did it once because I was already had a candle lit, and I can't remember what happened.
I mean, I've heard of it before, but I usually just allow the plant to callus over on its own. I'll give it a couple of hours. Now, if it's one that takes a really long time to callus, maybe I might consider it. But most of the cuttings I've ever done, I just allow the plant to kind of heal on its own before I transplant it to water. Because I'm assuming that's what they're talking about.
Ask, how is corn a fruit? Is corn a fruit or a grain?
Corn. I want to say that it's a fruit because of the way it's grown. Because seeing as how we are taking something that's grown from a flower, and that flower is pollinated from the strands up at the top, the male parts up at the top. Its flower is pollinated. It produces the fruit. It produces an offspring that makes it a fruit, botanically speaking. Now I know.
I thought
culinarily.
Well, it does have seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like botanically, if it's a fruit, it would be a berry.
No?
If it was a fruit.
No. No. Well, I mean, yeah. Would it be considered a berry? Yeah, I guess corn.
It's
technically
multiple.
It'd be think about like a raspberry, right? A raspberry, it's going to be more like an aggregate fruit, because that raspberry is all these little clusters of berries on one central core, and that's essentially what corn is. So it would be more like an aggregate fruit, not truly a berry. Because the only true berries are like the ones you just did, the miracle berry, the goji berry, blueberries. But like even strawberries are technically, botanically not berries because of the way the flesh grows.
Well, because the seeds are on the outside.
Right. Yes. Go for it, Derek.
There we go. So everyone is right, kind of. So corn, because I was like, wait a minute. So I went to a quick Google and started reading. That's whenever I get real quiet, I'm reading. Either I'm reading or I'm really sleeping. When it comes to the corn, it is a cereal and a grain. The fruiting body is a fruit, right, on that cereal grain, which is botanically all of those things, but it's not a berry. It is each of these kernels developed from the inflorescence. I was trying to find like what the actual structure was named, but all I'm seeing is corn cob here. But I am on Wikipedia, so that's probably why. Which is giving great information. We come down on Wikipedia too much because you can't change everything like you want to. But yeah, it is indeed a fruit on a cereal grain. Yes,
a fruit on a cereal grain. All right.
Yeah, because it's a ripened ovary. So that's what a fruit is, a ripened ovary.
That's the terminology I was looking for, ripened ovary.
Okay, it says we eat the flower of the broccoli and cauliflower. Yes. So the thing about it is people get really hung up on the fruit vegetable sort of thing, and pretty much there's no scientific definition of a vegetable. Now we call roots vegetables, we call leaves vegetables, we call stems vegetables, we call fruits vegetables. So you can call anything a vegetable. I have no problem with it. If you use it as a vegetable, it's a vegetable.
That's the Michael Jackson song. You're a vegetable. Like culinarily speaking, like we confuse the culinary terms with the botanical.
Right.
So like culinary vegetables are savory, botanically and culinarily fruits are sweet, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am so jealous of you right now in
Just
that
snacking.
dragon fruit. Because you just look so happy. And I'm just like, I wish I could be that happy. But when it comes to like the botanically, a lot of these things are either fruits or flower buds or stems or roots or, something, unheard of, a nut, all of these different things. So yeah, it's a beautiful time in the botany world. Like I really challenge all of us up here, those of you watching this in the future, those of you watching this now, think of something you love, a plant that you love to eat, and look it up and see what part of the plant you're actually eating.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
because I've also heard, and it's, as I, having a botanist here is great, that there's no scientific definition of a tree.
Yeah, they tried in the horticultural world to be like a tree is like this shape and this size, then versus a bush, but it's really the difference between a tree and a bush is just like how much room to grow you have. Like it's more of a horticultural term to
Uh,
kind of say like what's the limit of its growth. But a bush is just a small tree. A bush is just a tree with low aspirations. That's it.
but
Need a pep
even when they
talk.
talk about like banana plants or palm trees, and they say they're not real
Yeah,
trees,
they're not.
but there is no such thing as a real tree.
Yeah, with trees, a tree is defined as having, and this is me going off of memory, its vascular system, it has the xylem and the phloem, and its outer cambium, its outer skin, is hardened, which makes that wood. So that is where we go into like what a tree is. Like banana trees, we call them banana trees, but they're not really a tree because I think bananas are still monocots, which are in the grass kind of like arena. But we just call them trees because common names, right? So my common name is none of y'all's business. Y'all thought I was going to say it. You thought I was going to tell you what my common name is. Okay, we get more sponsors, I'll release the common name of me. But my common name is just that. It has nothing to do with my real name. So when family members see Derek, they hear Derek and people call me Derek, they have no clue who this guy is. They only know my nickname. There's some people who never knew my government name. They have no idea who Derek Harrison Haynes is. All they know is nickname. And it's the same thing with these common names. On like banana trees and this tree and this tree. It's not really botanically a tree, but somebody that's long gone made up that name and said it was back before we really got the definitions we got now.
So
Now,
Justin, well, go
yeah.
ahead, Greg.
No, I think you're about to say about figs.
Oh
Go
yeah,
for it. What you got?
Justin said, wait till they find out how figs are made.
Oh,
But then not
figs are
all figs are
delicious.
made that way.
Yeah, look, they're not, but they're still delicious. I don't care what they do. When Isaac Newton put them figs together in a little cookie shell, and he made that thing when he was discovering the gravity, I just said to myself, my God, today, you knew what you was doing, Isaac.
Right.
Now, when he did the strawberry and the apple, I don't care about them, but them regular fig Newtons,
All right.
I
But
said he did that.
for people who don't know, some figs are pollinated by a wasp, and the wasp goes inside, dies, lays its eggs, and you basically, some vegetarians don't eat figs because, in theory, there's a wasp in it.
But that
Mm-hmm.
theory
Yeah.
is like that wasp has been kind of long digested, and I'm just like, get over it. But that's just me and vegetarians and me being Southern. But I'm like, get over it. Come on, just eat the figs. But I do understand if you got morals, you got morals. Like, do it.
Yeah, but not all figs do need that wasp. But you know what? I just got a fig from a friend, a really good friend of mine. Just brought me a fig tree over in a pot, and guess
Ooh.
what? I got a gang of wasps that love living over here. So have at it, wasps.
I
And
wish I
I'm a
lived next to
vegetarian.
you. I
Hey,
wish I lived next to you because I would be getting figs all the time. I love a good fig.
Mm-mm-mm.
I was in Europe this summer and in Italy, and they have the biggest figs you'll ever
Ooh,
see. Like they're monster figs there.
I would eat myself sick.
All
I would.
right, here's a question here. What's the hardest thing you've ever tried to grow?
Hmm.
What is the hardest thing you ever tried to grow, Andre? Because I noticed you ain't really answering these questions. What's the hardest thing you ever? Because you enjoying this fruit too much for me. What is the hardest thing you ever tried to grow?
The hardest thing I've ever tried to grow?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, That's tough. 'Cause there's probably been a lot of hard things. Cacao has been really hard.
There you
Mm.
go. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Cacao has been a struggle. I'm on my third cacao tree. I've lost 2 to cold.
Mm.
Yeah.
See, that's cold though. So that was, you was doing good. It was just the temperature.
All right, in terms of me trying to grow, I struggle with corn and
Okay.
sunflowers
Sunflowers. I would imagine you would be just raining in sunflowers. That's
because I
amazing.
don't have full sun here.
Mm.
Now,
Oh.
I've grown sunflowers and corn at the community garden for the kids, and they grow amazing there. But my property, I just can't do it.
Yeah. That makes
Okay.
sense.
Well,
I
you know
grow
what? I
That makes
respect
sense.
that.
mediocre sunflowers and mediocre corn.
But the beautiful stuff that the people want in the pictures, you like, I got to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay. What about
Mm.
you, Greg? What you be having difficulty growing? What's the hardest thing you had to grow?
Well, I'm going to tell you the hardest thing for me to grow. This was about 15 years ago, and it was on a Wednesday. No. um, blueberries. Blueberries.
Okay.
Because when I first started growing blueberries, I didn't look anything up. I didn't seek out any advice. I just kept buying these blueberry bushes. And I'm like, oh, we're going to give it a go. We're going to give it a go. We're going to give it a go. I killed maybe 5 blueberry bushes before I said, you know what? Maybe let's pick up a book and find out why I'm killing these blueberries.
Okay.
And once I realized I wasn't getting the soil right, I wasn't getting the soil pH right, light bulb finally went off, and now I can grow blueberries successfully. So it was a challenge for me, but I learned from my mistakes, and now I have like 8, 9 blueberry bushes out there growing just perfectly fine.
Oh, now for me,
What about you, Derek?
I
Yeah.
was coming around the mountain. I overwater. I love to water, and I talk about this often because I want people to know, like, they're not alone. So when it comes to the outdoors, lavender. Lavender does not want a bunch of water, and I know this. I've read up on this. I've went to cooperative extension. I've talked to horticultural extension agents and master gardeners. I'm connected. And you know what Derek still does? Overwater. And they go. They still go. And because I'm just like, but I haven't watered all week. And the plan is like, I'm fine. And I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. I'm going to water you now. And then indoor is begonias and peperomias. I cannot stand those plants. When I see them in the store, I kick them over. So those are the ones I just can't do. Because again, overwatering, I overwater, and I have too much light in the living room area. So I've had to move some plants like out of there. Because I had a spider plant that was almost going to the upper room because I had way too much light in the living room.
Well, we got 2 questions here real quick. Mango grafting, best time of year. If you can grow mangoes in your climate, you can graft any time of year. You can graft them all year long. They're fine. A lot of the nurseries here graft a lot in the winter. But you can do it all year long. Someone asked about the Hobbit greenhouse.
Yeah, that's when you're growing. It's like a geo kind of greenhouse where you're like growing in ground partially. So you've like buried. So like instead of like building on top, you're like digging into the ground, and it's supposed to be better because you can get your temperature more regulated throughout the year because like you're digging into the earth. So it's like supposed to be a better situation. I have not done it. From the concept of it and just what I know about greenhouse management and energy, it seems sensible. If you can dig that deep without hitting like wiring and clay and rocks, I would say, and making sure that there's some way, because I worry about like North Carolina, like flash flooding. So like what stops you from having a flash flood and then all of that water that's coming down into the ground doesn't seep into your Hobbit greenhouse. But if there's some way to keep all that out, I say go for it.
So is it like a high tunnel kind of greenhouse?
It's more like you dug. The only way I can reference is like people who've like dug like hideouts in the ground, like they've dug a pool, like digging a pool, but instead of digging a large pool, you did like a small 6x6 pool, and then you just put your greenhouse like on top of it.
That's it.
So you're like
just
3 or 4 feet off the ground.
Yeah, you got a filter.
Actually, yeah, there is.
Hell,
they come on automatically. I had one come on that was just zooming in.
I'm like, why am I looking like got makeup on.
You know why? Because you was eating that fruit too delicious, and all of us got mad. Instagram got mad.
But you know what? Justin actually just said it in the comments. Justin said in the comments, he said that it's called a wallapini. I couldn't remember the name of it. Wallapini is the,
House.
yeah, so essentially you dig down into the earth, and because the ambient temperature of the earth is like a 55 degrees or so, I've seen this done in Alaska, because Alaska, since you have so much permafrost on the soil and they have a very short window of when they can grow, they dig down into the soil, and then the top portion of the greenhouse is like made out of something that's going to retain heat.
Right.
And then the rest of the garden is actually about 8 feet, depending on how deep you can go down into the soil. So you're keeping that 55 degrees as opposed to that 0 and so
It's
forth.
like geothermal heat sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ah,
and it works both ways. So in the hotter regions, you're getting that cooler temperature, and in the northern regions, you're getting that warmth. So it works both ways. Wallapini.
Right.
Yeah.
Farmer
I just if you
Ken
can.
asks, what's the most unique vegetable or fruit that you're growing? I'll tell you right now, I have fruit on my Patanga tuba or star cherry right now,
There we
and I'm
go.
super excited. First time it's fruiting ever, so that's for me.
Lord,
Nice.
Farmer Ken is out here. Hey, Ken. He's out in California, and y'all, he got about 50 acres of land out there in Hemet, California. He's growing all types of plants. He grows all types of stuff. He got jasmine ice plants. He got, if you name a plant, he got it on that acre. He got about 100 acres
Yeah,
out there, maybe 200.
I've seen it. I've seen this stuff. He got some amazing stuff.
He does.
What are some good plants for a balcony that gets 5 to 6 hours of direct sun in South Florida? You could probably grow pretty much everything. You could grow a little Pickering mango tree, a little dwarf mango tree in a pot. You can grow. It's pretty unlimited as long as size is your only limiting factor there.
Yeah. And you can get those from A Natural Farm, right? Those dwarf mangoes.
You can, definitely. But guys, I think we are out of time. I would like to thank our sponsors. I'd like to thank Sonia's Bug Spray. I'm telling you, this bug spray, I don't know why I don't have it on me. I probably should have it on me, but it's soniasbugspray.com. It's not a bug spray. It's a lotion that sort of masquerades as a bug spray because it keeps the bugs off you, but it feels like lotion. You literally could put it on in the morning every single day to go out with it. It's that good.
Hey, can,
Um,
Andre, can I say Sony's bug spray? The whole family and I, we were cleaning out the garage yesterday, and it was raining out there, and the mosquitoes were crazy. I ran back into the house. I grabbed my Sony's bug spray. I was like, everybody lotion up. It's time. And it worked the whole entire day. I love it.
Yep, definitely. And our other sponsor is Retain, which is something you can use to clean your tools. It sanitizes your tools. It also lubricates your tools. And for me, my pruning shears, especially when I'm doing grafting and air layering, my grafting knife, those are things I always want to have something like hydrogen peroxide or something like that around with me. But I usually don't. But if I'm carrying the Retain spray, that definitely does the job. And last
See,
but
I didn't
not
know I
least,
was Vanna White, right?
I love
and last but not least, Andre's sweet and spicy, Andre the Farmer's sweet and spicy pepper sauce, my pepper sauce, which I also should have a bottle here. I don't know why I don't have a bottle on me right now,
We
but
don't have bottles because you people should just go online and get it. That's why. We want you to see it in your house. This is why we planned this. We plan on having this stuff on camera because we want you to get it in your house. Sonia's bug spray, Andre's sweet pepper sauce, and the retain. Did I say that
retain,
right?
Retain.
Reclaim?
Retain.
Retain. I said it right. The spray. Get these products today and help us and help yourself because these are our sponsors bringing this show to you.
All right. So yeah, and you can get it on Amazon and on my website, andrethefarmer.com. And I see Estriana is going to my grafting class next week. I can't wait to see you there. As long as I don't get stuck on a plane, I will be there. But thank you guys for watching. The replay will be on my Instagram page. I think it'll be on all of our Instagram pages. It will also be on YouTube as well at andrethefarmer.com. So check it out there as well. All right. Thanks, guys. Great show tonight. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back next Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
Talk to you guys soon.
See you guys.